So, as we move on to the ozone layer, the key thing is do not get confused with the ozone layer and the greenhouse effect. So, two separate things. The ozone layer is different to global warming and the greenhouse effect. The most common mistake people make is they talk about the two in the same question. So, be very clear in your mind. Greenhouse effect, carbon dioxide, methane, global warming. Ozone layer is something different that you've probably heard about. So, can anybody remember the formula for ozone? What is ozone? O3. Yeah, ozone is O3, which has it's a bit of a weird formula because you're used to oxygen being O2, but ozone is O3. What is the ozone layer? Yeah, a layer of O3. Why is it important for us? Brilliant. It protects from UV, which would do what to us? Yeah, absolutely. So the key thing is when they're asking you about this in exams, don't just say, oh, the ozone layer protects us. The ozone layer protects us against skin cancer and so on. So you really clarify to say exactly what it does for us, because without it, we would be in dodgy territory. So the ozone layer is good for us. We will look later on at reasons why ozone is bad, but the ozone layer in itself, when we're not breathing it in, is a good thing. So, what we'll do is, we'll write a little bit. So, the ozone layer, what we'll say, is how it works, is ozone is constantly being formed up in the atmosphere. Now, this is a little bit of a weird equation. So, I've got oxygen gas, which you're familiar with, plus oxygen atoms combine to give you ozone. Does anybody know what that is? That is, if you do physics, that we use, we can represent that as being UV light.
Was it HR?
It's kind of like an H with a squiggly V. So what's happening in the upper atmosphere is ozone, because that of course is my equilibrium arrow, ozone is being constantly formed. As ozone interacts with UV light, it then breaks down again into oxygen gas and oxygen atoms. They recombine to give me ozone, which then breaks down again. So it's this continuum is constantly being formed and broken up again, and that's what protects us against UV radiation. Because ozone here is absorbing ultraviolet radiation, which breaks it down into these guys. Okay, so what we'll say is ozone is being constantly formed and broken down in the atmosphere by UV light. So we'll say ozone absorbs ultraviolet radiation. And you know what layer of the atmosphere it's in?
Stratosphere?
Yeah, stratosphere. Let's get that one. And undergoes photo dissociation. Photo kind of means light, dissociation means it breaks out, so it's photo dissociation. The action of light breaks my molecule up. In doing so, it shields the Earth from ultraviolet radiation. Since the reaction is reversible, O2 and O can combine to reform O3. It keeps going back and forth. So the reason why the ozone layer is so important, so the ozone layer, we've already had one. It prevents skin cancer in animals and of course us. Can anybody else have another why ozone? Ultraviolet radiation is also really bad for the immune system as well. So it prevents skin cancer in humans and a suppression of the human immune system. So it's kind of important for us. Anything else at all? Anything else? Plants don't really like it much. Not great for little planties. So, inhibition of plant life, because obviously they haven't got any protection against it, and as it damages our cells, it would damage their cells as well. And also a reduction in the growth. This is one of the biologists of phytoplankton, which you need for obviously food webs and so on, food chains, and also a decrease in aquatic life. Because it would be bad for the fishies as well, penetrates the water.